Hello, in this video I will show you how to set up your gradebook inside the Schoology. Once when you log in using your single sign-on, you will see your home page. Your home page will look different than mine, but we both have the same courses. For example, if you go up to courses, you're going to notice all of your classes here. The only difference is that these classes won't have any students in there yet. You scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a sandbox. This is where we're going to be playing around and learning how to set up our classes. Whatever you do in the sandbox won't take effect on any of your other classes. So go ahead and select on My Sandbox. This is a mock course that's set up by LAUSD so you can practice setting up your gradebook. On the left hand side, select Gradebook and Grade Setup. Within the grade setup, we are going to set up our gradebook just for this one class only. There will be three areas where we have to make changes. First is on the grading scale. Second would be on the categories of our gradebook. And lastly, the final grade settings. To start off, let's change our scales. For this training, we will be focusing on just the default secondary scale, which is the standard 90%, 80%, 70, 60, and 0. 90 for the A, 80 for the B, 70 for the C, 60 for the D, and 0 for the fail. Now, if your grading scale is different than this, we will do that in another training. But for now, we're going to select the default secondary grade as our scale. And to do that, click on the star, and that transfers the default from numeric over to the default secondary scale. That's done. Let's go over the categories. Categories, I'm going to add two categories for my grading. One of them is going to be classwork and the other one is going to be homework. You can add more if you like, but I'm just going to do two for this example. So I'll click add, type in homework for one, click create, add a second one, and I'll call this one classwork. Again, you have the option of selecting which one you want to be as default. I will select classwork as default. When you select this as a default, what it does is when you create an assignment in your gradebook, it will always default to classwork. Of course, you can always change it to homework, but you want to set the default to the one that you most likely will be using the most. Last setup would be in the grading the final grade settings. This is going to be for the final grade. What scale will you be using? Again, we're going to be using the default secondary scale. So select from numeric down to default. And from our training, they have told us that if you set it on numeric, it will not transfer over to MISIS. So make sure you select default secondary scale. Scroll down to the bottom and click on Save Changes. And that's basically it. Now, if you have only set up grades for this one mock class, which is from the sandbox, when you are ready to set up the grading scales and the categories and the final grade for all your other classes, you will be doing that over here. And then you have the option of copying that to your other classes. But for this example, we're just going to be using the sandbox and setting it just for this one class. And that's it.